Excellencies, Deputy Leader of the Westminster City Council, Reverend Fathers, ladies and gentlemen. Excellencies, Deputy Leader of the Westminster City Council, Reverend Fathers, ladies and gentlemen. Deputy Leader of the Westminster City Council, Reverend Fathers, ladies and gentlemen.
Today's concert and exhibition, Arutiunian, Saryan and Mozart, is a conversation between vibrant and rich music and colourful palette. This year is the 105th birthday anniversary of Armenian composers Alexander Arutiunian and Lazar Saryan. You can also enjoy a special exhibition dedicated to the 145th anniversary of legendary painter Martiros Sarian with his paintings, replicas. Here. After completing his major concert tour in Armenia, France, and USA, with the National Chamber Orchestra of Armenia, Maestro Sipan Olah, his main focus has been this specific event. He has meticulously curated tonight's program to showcase a diverse array of genres within classical music, highlighting the profound contributions of these celebrated composers, Arutiunian, Saryan, and Mozart, in one event. Please welcome His Excellency, Ambassador of the Republic of Armenia, Varuzhan Nersesyan, for a speech.
Thank you very much, Ami. Good evening, Variereko Bolorin. Thank you very much for this warm welcome, and I wanted first of all to thank the parish of this beautiful St. Paul Church here in Westminster for hosting the Armenian cultural event tonight, and of course to thank Klingen Chamber Orchestra and Maestro Sipan Olah for organizing this beautiful Armenian series of Armenian cultural events here in London, across the United Kingdom, and now even beyond the UK, in France, in India, in many other countries, where Sipan, together with our Armenian embassies, organize cultural celebrations. Tonight's event comes also, of course, to strengthen Armenia-UK cultural connections. Armenia and UK this year celebrate the 33rd anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations, but these relations go much deeper in history. We have very strong relations across the history, and those of you who have not attended yet the exhibit in the British Library are welcome to attend. There is a very good exhibit going on in the British Library called Britanahai, which depicts the centuries-old historic and cultural ties between Armenia and the United Kingdom. And one of the pieces depicts the story of the Armenian king of the Cilicia, last king of Cilicia, that he arrived in London in 1385 all the way to meet King Richard II. And that's a French manuscript that tells that story, and it stands as a very strong documentation of our intergovernmental relations. But the cultural relations, as I said, have been a very important part of this overall Armenia-Britain relations, and our community in this beautiful country has also very deep and strong history. There are several Armenian churches in the UK, one here in Kensington, very close, but the oldest one in Manchester, and we have an old Armenian community here with great traditions. But tonight's celebration, we celebrate, of course, two Armenian cultural names, but of course also the Martiros Sarian, who has been iconic, legendary Armenian painter, whose pictures are at the very soul, at the very heart of the Armenian character. Martiros Sarian's pictures describe very much, if you want to understand the Armenian character, Armenian psychology, only one look towards Martiros Sarian pictures, we have several samples here, will showcase the entire depth and the richness of the Armenian soul and Armenian spirit. But also his son, Lazar Saryan, who became a composer, enshrined the inherited gifts from his father, but the cultural gene. Also his grandfather was a very prominent Armenian writer called Lazaros Sarian. So Lazar Saryan studied with very famous also Armenian, later who became, they studied in Armenian Conservatorium with Arno Babajanyan, with Edward Mirzoyan. This is an entire generation of Armenian composers that they studied in the Soviet Armenian time, but their culture was always dedicated to promotion of Armenia, of Armenian spirit, but also was in a way a combination of Armenian traditions together with Western traditions of musical interesting combinations. So today I'm sure you will enjoy listening to these interesting pieces. Also, Alexander Arutiunian is a great Armenian composer who has been conductor of the Armenian State Philharmonic Orchestra for more than 40 years and is another representative of Armenian composers of the entire that generation. Of course, you are familiar with the names of Aram Khachaturian, whose music we're not going to listen tonight, but I'm sure Sipan and Chamber Orchestra will have another opportunities to invite for other great Armenian composers' music. So I wanted to thank all of you for your presence and supporting Armenian cultural events, and once again to Sipan and all of the performers, which I'm sure is going to be a very unique cultural journey tonight. Thank you very much and enjoy this musical celebration.
Alexander Arutiunian studied in both Yerevan and Moscow conservatories. Aram Khachaturian considered him as a promising composer of the 20th century. Arutiunian is known worldwide for his trumpet concerto, which he composed in 1950. The list of his iconic musical pieces is huge and requires wide worldwide acknowledgement. In 1988, inspired by the Spitak earthquake, Arutiunian composed his 4-movement concerto for violin and string orchestra and dedicated it to the well-known violinist Ruben Aharonian. The premiere took place in Yerevan in 1989. There are special requests from the musicians not to cut between the 4 movements of the violin concert. Now, I would please like everyone to welcome the Klingen Chamber Orchestra. Thank you so much. I would also like to welcome violinist Ani Batikyan and artistic director and conductor Sipan Olah.